Hi guys and welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome, my name is Poulo. And today I want to unleash the chaos of the holiday season with this classic horror comedy gem from 1984. Directed by Joe Dante, produced by Steven Spielberg and screenwriter Chris Columbus. A trinity that bestowed us the success and enduring legacy of Gremlins. If you've never watched Gremlins before, oh my, is this movie the holidays on steroids. It's festive, it's fun, and a little bit terrifying. Think Christmas cheer meets Mayhem. Now I quickly need to add that I have never reviewed a movie before, so just keep that in mind as we go. Our story kicks off in Chinatown when Randall Peltzer, played by this absolute stud, Hoyt Axton, is being guided by this adorable kid to his grandpa's store. Randall is an inventor trying to get a breakthrough. He's here to sell his newest invention, the bathroom body, that has the convenient size of a brick. But in this scene we get the feel for the kind of humor we can expect.
Now let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you're on a bus or a plane or a train. You forgot to brush your teeth. You got yourself a bad case of dragon breath. Bad breath. And what do? No problem, friend. All you do is you take your toothbrush out and you push this button. That's no problem. That's absolutely no problem. Cleans up easily.
It's kind of subtle, but also a little silly, but I love it. Papa Randall stumbles upon what will become a very unique Christmas gift for his son, a mogwai. What is a mogwai? No idea, but just you wait because it's so fucking adorable. And it even sings.
What's he doing?
Singing. He does that sometimes.
But here's the catch. The mogwai comes with rules.
Keep him out of the light. He hates bright light, especially sunlight. It'll kill him. Keep him away from water. Don't get him wet. But the most important rule, the rule you can never forget, never feed him after midnight.
And if you break them, well, let's just say shit could hit the fan real quick. The majority of the movie takes place in the quaint town of Kingston Fall, and here we get the feeling of the holiday spirit. Christmas decorations, the snowy landscape, and tree sale. We meet the townfolk and get this lived-in feeling of a small town, like we, the audience, was just thrown into an already thriving town with unique characters just going about their day. Now meet our protagonist Billy Peltzer, played by Zach Galligan. He's a typical small-town guy with a big heart. Also, his car won't start, so that sparks this convo with Mr. Futterman.
Hey, Billy, what's the matter? You need a jump?
Oh, no thanks, Mr. Futterman. I'm pretty much late for work as it is.
These goddamn foreign cars, they always freeze up on you. You don't find American machinery doing that. Our stuff can take anything.
I don't know about you, but
Goddamn foreign cars.
I don't think you like foreign cars that much. This is, of course, one of many references, so if you're old enough and enjoy a good Easter egg hunt, this movie is filled with them. This movie is like a love letter to the movies that came before it. Billy works at the bank that is owned by Mrs. Ruby Deagle, played by Polly Holiday, a stereotypical Christmas villain embodying the archetype of a cold-hearted, wealthy antagonist. She's the 80s version of a Karen, but on crack. She even threatens to have Billy's dog Barney put down.
I want your dog.
Barney?
I'll take him to the kennel. They'll put him to sleep. It'll be quick and painless compared to what I could do to him.
What could you do?
A slow, painful death.
Barney then unties himself and jumps Mrs. Deagle, and we get this kind of funny scene.
Are you all right?
Oh, I have a very weak heart. I can't stand a shot like that.
What is that dog doing in here?
Peltzer, this is a bank, not a pet store.
Very good, Gerald.
I'll give you when you least expect it. Oh, my heart. Oh,
I must apologize for this.
Oh, my heart. This is also where we meet Billy's love interest and one of the main characters, Kate, played by Phoebe Cates. And oh my god, is she beautiful. The heck? Back at the Peltzer's place, we learn that this is a thing every time the door closes. Raise your hand if you believe this will be important later on in the movie. We meet Billy's mom, Lynn, played by Frances Lee McCain, and we quickly found out that Randall, Billy's dad, is the 80s version of 5 Minute Crafts life hacks, solving problems that never existed in the worst way possible. I love the quirky inventions in these scenes. Randall is a walking, talking infomercial, and I love him for it. Speaking of, Dad is home. Foreshadowing. And it's finally time for Billy to open his present.
Oh, honey, would you dim the lights, please?
Sure.
Yes, dim the light for us, Lynn.
Dad wants it to glow in the dark.
It's important. Trust me.
What can I say? I just love them. And there it is. With its big, adorable eyes and big ears, just being the definition of cuteness. Billy is told about the same set of rules that Randall was.
He hates bright lights, we know that. But you gotta keep him out of the sunlight. Sunlight will kill him. Number 2, keep him away from water. Don't give him any water to drink. And whatever you do, don't give him a bath. And probably the most important thing, don't ever feed him after midnight.
Billy and Gizmo have a bonding moment right before Billy breaks him. But Gizmo get fixed up. All is good, and then they settle in for the night. Next morning, we meet Pete Fontaine, played by Corey Feldman, a friend to our protagonist Billy. And can we appreciate this costume?
Got a tree.
While this scene is playing, we also learn that Gizmo loved to watch TV. And the reason I'm telling you this is because this scene is going to be important later on. Pete learned about Gizmo, and this is the scene where we realize that shit might quite possibly hit the fan real soon. This scene is terrifying for Gizmo's sounds of pain alone.
What's in that jar?
Nothing, just water.
So we now know that water makes mogwais multiply, but so far they still look cute and fluffy like Gizmo, but they are not at all like Gizmo. They are aggressive. This is Stripe, by the way, he's the leader. They are loud. And look at this little sleeping devil. What did it do? I'll tell you what it did. It tied up Barney in the Christmas lights outside. At this point the family kinda, but with no real proof, believe it was the work of Mrs. Deagle. And Papa Randall reassures Billy that he will drop Barney off at Grandma's on his way to a convention. The next day, Billy takes a mogwai to the biology teacher, Mr. Roy Hansen, played by Glenn Turman. Billy demonstrates what happens to the mogwai when exposed to water, and Mr. Hansen is in awe and wants to keep one for testing. We then jump to Billy walking by the local bar where Kate is closing up, trying to escort a drunk Mr. Futterman out, and here we get a little bit more information about the term gremlins.
You gotta watch out for the foreigners because they plant gremlins in their machinery. That's the same gremlins brought down our planes in the big one.
Big one.
That's right. World War II. Good old WWII.
Billy then walks Kate home, and we learn about Kate's aversion to Christmas, and Jesus Christ, did she go dark real fast.
I always thought everyone was happy during the holidays. No matter what.
Well, most people are, but some aren't. While everybody else is opening up their presents, they're opening up their wrists.
Jesus Christ.
Cheery thought.
It's true. The suicide rate's always the highest around the holidays.
I mean, kudos for shedding light on a very realistic issue, even today. But damn, that took a turn. Anyway, Billy asks her out, and it's a cute scene, and again, oh my god, is she so beautiful. We then cut back to Mr. Hansen. He wants a blood sample from the mogwai and says it won't hurt. But it does hurt. It does hurt.
Big guy like you, come on. There you go.
I wonder if that will be important later on in the movie. Back at the Pelzer's residence, Gizmo is having a neat time with his 3D glasses and a comic book. They say neat a lot in this movie. Meanwhile, these little fuckers are begging for food, and now I kinda want chicken wings too.
Maybe you guys will be...
Never mind. We cut back to the lab showing a different time on the clock, and Mr. Hansen calls it a night and leaves his sandwich behind. Next morning we see a concerned Gizmo and Billy calling for his mom while we are shown these slimy cocoons scattered on the floor. But what happened? He fed them before midnight. Or did he?
No, wait a minute. I made sure.
Those sneaky, tiny bastards. We see that the same thing has happened in the lab, and our boy Pete drops a good one.
Right, this is a cocoon, and inside He's going through changes. Lots of changes.
Like my mother.
We cut back to Mama Lynn where the phone rings, and I am only showing you this because of this.
Hello? Hello? Hi, honey.
I had so much fun watching these scenes, alright? All these inventions, so just let me. By the way, Randall is calling from the convention, and this is a great scene for those Easter eggs. While Mama Lynn is on the phone, we simultaneously cut to the cocoon starting to hatch in Billy's room and at the lab. Look at poor Gizmo, he's looking so scared. Back at the lab, the egg hatched and drops on the floor, then the bell rings. Talk about great timing, huh? Mr. Hansen very quickly kicks out his students, calls Billy, who will be right there. He goes back into the lab and tries to lure it out with the sneakers.
Come on out, take a bite. Let me see you. I just wanna see you. Here, you try some of this now. I know you got to be hungry. There now. Don't you feel better, huh?
Sneakers, you're not you when you're hungry. We then cut to Billy arriving to the scene only to find Mr. Hansen dead, with a needle stuck in his ass. Remember that blood test?
Big guy like you, come on.
Yeah. So did the mogwai. Billy reaches for the phone, but the gremlin scratches his hand before it eats glass and escapes through the vent. I think it's safe to say that shit has officially hit the fan. We are about this close to find out what it means to be knee-deep in a snowstorm of true chaos. We cut back to Mama Lynn and probably one of my favorite scenes. She hears noise coming from the attic, Billy's room, and the fuckers are using poor Gizmo as target practice. Mama Lynn grabs a kitchen knife, look at these beautiful cookies by the way, and go investigate the noise. She discovers that the egg have hatched, then the phone rings, and Billy tells her to get out of the house. We see that one of the gremlins cut the phone line and the record player downstairs starts playing. She go downstairs, turn off the music, and follow the noise to the kitchen. I love how this movie made sure that Lynn's character stands out for subverting some of the conventional tropes associated with female characters in horror movies. Mama Lynn is no damsel in distress. No. She transformed from a loving, caring housewife into a gremlin-slaying warrior in seconds, using her surroundings and available tools to protect herself. She picked up the knife before going to the attic. She turned on the mixer, killing the first one. Used a folding table as a shield before stabbing the second one 3 times. Used her flea and tick killer to spray the third one and shove it into the microwave. She picked up not 1, but 2 knives before carrying on. She is an absolute queen, driven by a mother's instinct to protect her home and her family, which makes her a far more relatable character even for a comedic horror movie. We need far more Lynns than whatever the fuck we're doing today, but that's just my opinion. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. In the living room, Mama Lynn gets jumped by the 4th gremlin hiding in the Christmas tree, and they scuffle. And that's when Billy shows up, sees his mother being attacked, and guess what weapon he uses? Yes! He swings the sword and launches the gremlin into the fireplace, saving his mom. We then see Stripe blowing his nose in the curtains right before escaping through the window. With Gizmo on his back and the sword in hand, Billy takes off in pursuit to find Stripe. Following the footsteps left in the snow leads them to the YMCA center. And here Stripe jumps at Billy, forcing him to the ground while he threatens to destroy the whole town. Billy fights him off and yells something along the line of, "Oh yeah? You in what army?" right before Stripe bomb jumps into the pool. I made that conversation up if it wasn't obvious. It is a very cool scene though. But also very, very bad for multiple reasons. We then get the scene of Stripe leading his army of gremlins down the street, and it's so bad that it's hilarious. The Gremlins is everywhere at this point, wreaking havoc all over town. They even even pay Mrs. Deagle a little visit at her mansion. She named her cats after currency, by the way. Kopic and Dollar Bill. One of the Gremlins sneaks in, tamper with her stair lift, while a small group of them distract Mrs. Deagle by singing Christmas Carol outside her door. She gets spooked, runs inside, and gets in her stair lift that seems to be going a little bit too fast before it just yeets her out the window. This scene caught me completely off guard, and I laughed so hard, and I had to rewatch it a few times, and it's just brilliant. It's brilliant. Meanwhile, at the local bar, Kate is overrun by gremlins having the time of their life. Drinking, smoking, playing poker. This little creep is flashing her. This one is making Jennifer Beals proud. And this movie noir-esque moment just made me laugh. I just love this movie. She then finds out that they respond badly to light, and she then flashes her way out of the bar. Not that kind of flashes, but camera flashes her way out of the bar. Meets Billy and Giz outside, and they find safety inside a building. And all this mayhem has given Kate one more reason to hate Christmas. And it's not funny. But the way they made her drag out the story long enough for your imagination to take over is... just watch.
It was Christmas Eve. I was 9 years old. Me and Mom were decorating the tree, waiting for Dad to come home from work. A couple hours went by. Mom called the office. No answer. Christmas Day came and went, and still nothing. So the police began a search. 4 or 5 days went by. Neither one of us could eat or sleep. It was snowing outside. The house was freezing, so I went to try to light up the fire, and that's when I noticed the smell. Firemen came, broke through the chimney top, and me and Mom were expecting them to pull out a dead cat or a bird, and instead they pulled out my father. He was dressed in a Santa Claus suit. He'd been climbing down the chimney on Christmas Eve, his arms loaded with presents. He was gonna surprise us. He slipped and broke his neck, died instantly.
Is it just me? It's kind of tragicomic, right? Right? As it's getting bright outside and quieter in the street, Billy, Giz, and Kate find out that a gremlin has run into hiding at the movie theater.
They're inside. All of them.
So they blow that sucker up, leaving only Stripe as the last gremlin standing. They chase after him and whoops, Spielberg is showing. We see a cool fight scene between Billy, Stripe, and a chainsaw before Stripe gets dragged away, and we are now at the fountain. This is it. Stripe needs to be stopped before he multiplies all over the place. Remember that scene I told you would be important later on? This is it. This is your moment, Giz.
It takes a certain kind of guy.
And that guy is a certain kind of thing.
In conclusion, I would rate Gremlins 4 sneakers out of 5 fluff balls. It's a holiday masterpiece that combines comedy, horror, and heart. It's just a timeless classic that is definitely worth your watch. I had an absolute blast rewatching this as an adult. But what do you think of Gremlins? Let me in on your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you for spending your time here with me, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one. But until then, happy holidays and take care.